Season 8. We're going to be diving into our very first map here between thekillaz and 4Magic, the epic rematch. They came head-to-head in the open qualifier to find themselves a spot here in the main event. Both of them did make their way through. Now they have to see, well, who's going to come out on top of this particular matchup. Of course, we kick things off. Kick things off with a very quick push in towards ramp and fly style. Dear Lord, you know what? I thought she got those kills. No, of course it was Hera. Of course it was our Kadia player to watch who gets the first smattering of kills. And finally, it will get cleaned up by Flystyle.
thekillaz coming through with pure aggression. That lobby crunch, just mopping up any chance that 4Magic had of even having a chance to think in that round. Now, into the second, it's looking like without the bomb plant, we are just going to see 4Magic go for the Glocks, which, you know, makes sense. And then only one MP9 in the mix. So heavy lean towards the rifles here for thekillaz. Just looking to play the range game.
If they can farm up a bit of cash from Bruna, try and get that AWP into their hands as quickly as possible. But now again, all eyes kind of on Hera and how much more she's going to be able to accomplish. She's already kicked off beautifully. Hopefully we can get a little bit of follow-up off of that. 4Magic, it is a little bit of a sad one that they weren't able to get really anything done in that previous round. A little bit would have been quite nice, but let's get snatched away from them. They've managed to get 2 players down secret, but look at where the bomb is. It's still hovering towards A with 2 players getting killed outside and 2 players slipping through the net. They're really hoping to pull those rotations, but Onyx, I don't know if she's really going to have an opportunity to get anything done here. Her teammates continue to fall. Her popping up through the vent now has been heard, desperate to try and make something happen. Bomb does get planted, but unfortunately, that's all she wrote. 2 kills with the MP9. A decent little bit of cash in the back pocket here.
Counter-terrorists win.
Definitely the weapon for the job. Just mopping that one up. But look, it's extra money for everyone. Bomb plant there for thekillaz. And on the other side of thing as well, thekillaz are able to get a couple of those kills on the MP9. So yeah, 4Magic onto the rifles with every piece of util they could need and more. And let's see how they default into this one, or if it's just going to be more of a set piece. Come like they're just going to show some presence out towards lobby. Deny vision with the deep wall of smokes, although there's a good amount of info getting gained here. Flystyle right under the silo, able to get a couple of picks there. And that's going to set the tone for the round, even though you can see we are going to have 4Magic already down the vents as well.
That's devastating. All that chip damage done early on, and then the 2 players that get cleaned up aren't even the ones who were brought low, so already at a massive deficit. They think that they've cleared out that close angle, but there's still a player there waiting in the wings, and yes, through the smoke, does manage to slip her way, but gets caught out by thekillaz and Babs. It's a 2vx, guys. It's thekillaz and it's Babs. Oh man, we spoke about this before, but unfortunately, an HE to the face is all it will take to end that in its tracks. Now Babs on the other side of the map. It was all just a bit of a bait and switch there just to allow them to get that bomb planted. But she's got a 1v4 now to try and salvage this round. First player down in vents, loses the fight. And somehow, bro, thekillaz surviving with 3 of their players so devastatingly low. Very impressive round.
Yeah, thekillaz doing such a fantastic job there. Reacting. And then the fact that, you know, only Bruna, the one to be untouched in the meanwhile. It's inches in it, but they're going to take that every day. You know, every CT side round matters. You want to keep it as one-sided as possible for the first half here, as thekillaz are looking just to extend that lead over 4Magic. I think the weirdest thing during that round is after this whole mess of whatever happened to the outside, whatever happened down the vents, the bomb was stuck on Babs over towards pre-lobby, over towards lobby, and eventually got that free bomb plant. And I almost had Babs in that, you know, given her the red hot crack, but it just couldn't get past that first kill. And now with just the pistols, we are going to see the package, the C4, straight down the vent, with most of the team able to follow. Although Hera has been told that that's already down here, and things get a little more awkward with that pick.
I'm amazed that Ana X wins that, manages to trade out her teammate. Hera falls to the wayside. That's going to allow them to get that bomb plant. Not the Tech 9 rush that you expected, But it does net them some really solid results. thekillaz has picked up an M4 as well, so there's that little bit of extra firepower that they're going to be able to play with. There is a bit of a pincer coming through here. Flystyle needs to live. Wins out the first duel, but does get traded out by the Tech 9. Oh, the Tech 9's continuing to be a problem. Anna X from the top rope. And now it's Bruna Killer. 1 versus 2. She's got the weapon advantage, has a kit in hand, has to try and bait them out, but it's 2 different angles, trying desperately to win these fights. Gets the first. Somehow reads that Josie's repositioned, wins that one as well, but time is not on her side. Oh, it's so close, and oh my god, she's done it. How has she done that?
Pure experience. Stone Cold Killer, also known as Bruna Killer. Works out, doesn't it? And the Killers going to be feeling themselves yet again, 4-0. Got to be happy with that. Even though a couple of the rounds have come down to, these 1vx situations, it's still pretty good. That prior round before, keeping 4 alive, that's huge for the future. You can see Bruna still with 8k in the back pocket, even after the full rebuy for everyone else. And 4Magic, at least back on an AK round. So we'll see if this can be the first one they can find.
Looking to see what Tamazina can potentially get done with the AWP, but it's going to be the sniping prowess of the AK, I suppose. Brandina cracking open this round a little bit. Oh, slips through the smoke undetected for a second, and now the Killer's floundering to try and bring this round back, but cannot stem the tide of a full force, a full frontal attack from 4Magic. And now Tamazina, unfortunately, kind of has to turn tail and run away. There's no reason to push this, and you don't want to lose that AWP. So finally, 4Magic with a beautiful round under their belts. It's been a bit of rough going. I mean, even looking at their total kills, you can see it's really been a slog to get into a position here, but they've finally done it. 1 on the board.
Keeping these 3 weapons alive, more important than the hunt, which is fair enough. Tamazina able to at least keep this across to the next, which will be good going forward. You can see she's able to drop, or someone can. And then off the back of that, there's plenty of cash for another full reinvestment. There you go. Even with the scramble of the A-site members, unfortunately, Flystyle going up over Tetris. Just gives up her life in the meanwhile and just couldn't buy time for the retake. So we'll see if Tamazina can get this AWP cranking again. Didn't even get a chance to fire a shot last round, which feels bad for such an expensive weapon.
Oh, that's a decent stall molly. Buy a little bit of time here for the Killers. They've got some really strong presence toward the outsides. We've seen how much Flystyle can get done in this more advanced position. Slightly different position to last time. Oh my god, I thought Josie was just going to reverse into her, but doesn't matter. Even with her eyes wide open, Flystyle still wins that battle. Barely takes a lick of damage as well. Smoke walls allow her to retreat. She thinks now that she's basically cleared up this outside position, and HE comes through to clear out, get that little bit of extra knowledge that, nope, there's nothing happening outside. So the reinforcements in towards ramp will have to come up big. Tamazina misses the first shot, but follows it up quite nicely. Oh, that's a nasty HE. That's going to clear her out of her position. That's going to give our tease of 4Magic a much better situation to play with. thekillaz. Okay, just holding that angle. They're waiting for someone to get cheeky enough to push her. They slow down. They know that they've got a little bit of time to work with. And while they don't necessarily have a numbers advantage, they certainly have a spatial advantage, but it's completely telegraphed where they are. And that's why they need to kind of slow down and think about potentially repositioning here. Hera is waiting for this lurk to come out, spots out that player. Not able to connect those shots, but that's going to keep her attention for a little bit longer. That's going to allow 4Magic the time they need to reposition. Sammy's loses out that fight. Anna X has cracked open the A site. She's given them the numbers advantage. The Molotov into heaven buys them a bit of time. And the bomb can finally get planted once more. 4Magic now staring down the barrel of a second round. Do the Killers go for this? Do they even try? Well, it doesn't look like it. And with the money the way that it is, I think this is the right call.
Yeah, certainly. Another buy onto the next if they can manage to keep their mitts on both these rifles. I think Hera needs to create as much space as possible. That's why she's over towards CT saving. And the killers finally conceding some form of these rounds. And an X, huge 2K to enable this one happening. And I thought maybe that Hera was towards heaven. She was towards hell at least. She could have had a look in. But I guess it's just about maintaining the lead while it's there. Showing respect for their opponents, respecting the player advantage. But some big shots, all things considered. Okay, tactical taken. A good time to have a discussion as to how to divvy up the money that has been brought into this one. And that's a solid buy. Bringing the AWP back in for Tamazinia. It's going to be a little interesting affair. There's a lot of confidence that the team has in her to try to be a round changer. Off the back of that as well, there's a FAMAS for Bruna. What goes to Sammy's here? Okay, M4 tossed across. So almost everything they need and a solid amount of utility to back it up. And 4-4 Magic, well, they just had 3 alive. Won the round. Selak still keeping the AWP alive too. We'll see how this goes. Diags to kick off the round and just deny that vision towards outside. The killers, unfazed by it, as no one's really gone through secret. Or that T side, however, CTs. Got Hera here waiting to make her move. Lifestyle as well, taking a name. Josie unfortunately gets headshot. Molly to the right position and Babs capitalizing, countering and punishing. Love to see that. Oh, Bruna, though, tucked over towards Sally. And things just a little bit frantic. But we spoke about the importance of this AWP and the confidence that the team had into Tamazinia. And she shows exactly why. Big 2K to bring it in right at the end.
Way that Hera kind of like ducks and dives a little bit there, kind of playing... knows that there's a couple of players there, knows that she has to be really careful. Her position's now been caught, and so she has to like very carefully play that last 1v1. Unfortunately, with that information being garnered, Selax from up on high is able to shut that down quite quickly. However, the killers continue to hold some semblance of control here, but with the way that the rounds have gone, they're at a little bit of a monetary deficit. So not the greatest buy for them available here. Babs is going to crack things open, getting the kill onto Flystyle, and Flystyle has been an absolute rock star for the killers. So this could be the opening that they need to make some magic happen. Again, the wall of smokes in towards outside keeps a lot of that attention. They've done a really good job of keeping the killers guessing, keeping them uncertain as to where these pushes are going to be going. But now the wall of smokes have dissipated. They haven't taken advantage, haven't really done anything yet. And the question becomes, so have they slipped through? Have they made some headway down below? The killer's not willing to rotate off. They know that they're at a numbers disadvantage. They know that they have to kind of compensate for that lack of a player. So instead, they keep this A site that little bit more heavily reinforced with the possibility of a quick rotation towards B if they need to. In the meantime, the bomb is angling towards A, but Util continues to come out, or rather towards B, but Util continues to come out over towards the A site, trying to pull those rotations across. It's not gonna work. Ana X with the kill on... Oh my god, Babs, a flying shot straight to the dome, takes out Tamazina, takes the AWP offline, and what was looking like a potentially recoverable situation has slipped through the killer's fingertips for Magic in a round that maybe they shouldn't have come out on top of. The mind games work perfectly in their favor.
Yeah, that was mayhem. But the ramp opens up the round and should just close it. As you can see, Hera and Bruna are just looking to keep these things alive. was thinking Hera may just look for an upgrade from that FAMAS. But I think the only rifle that could have been retrievable was over towards that ramp side. And there's a bit too much danger looming. In theory, Bruna might be able to grab it for herself instead because no one's exited this direction. 4-4 Magic. No. Tried to get the AWP, but went towards CT and didn't have the time to get there. Maybe not realizing that she could have just lived at ramp, maybe thinking someone was already there from that T side. We are going to have a quick technical off the back of the round win there. Another one, 4-4 Magic.
Oh, yes. South America and technical timeouts. Name a more iconic duo. But hopefully this will be a relatively short one and we'll be able to get through it as quickly as possible. These things do happen, folks, so please do bear with us. And off the back of how those first 4 rounds went, I'm really impressed with how 4 Magic have kind of pulled themselves towards themselves a little bit more here. I'm also impressed with how they're performing so far on this nuke. We spoke a bit about how Train was their, for both teams, it was their ban.
Yeah.
And then in the previous matchup, obviously nuke wasn't allowed through. This time, little bit of a change up meant that 4 Magic could steal it away. And maybe in the past, this was one that they felt a little bit less confident on, but now they've maybe practiced a bit more. And for them to be getting this much of a resurgence on their T side is amazing. Even if all they get is one more round, and looking at the money, looking at, you know, how things have gone so far, this does look like they should be walking away with that 4th round. So even if all they get is that one more, they've actually put themselves in a fantastic position for the second half.
Yeah, I think, what are we up to? 3 or 4 now already on the T side. I think 5 is the point where you get pretty confident that that's going to be enough, especially these days. After those recent, I guess they're still recent CT changes, you know, that slight change to the economy. I think that change has come in since last season, right? So it's fresh for this season for ESL Impact. And we should see a bit more CT presence for the rest of the season for sure. Now, faster approach shown with the Molotovs flooding all across this A site, and there's no CTs here at the party. I guess they didn't receive the invites. Is that it? Are we getting saves instantly off the back of the 10-second round?
I mean, would you go for that?
Maybe. This flash is telling me they're going to give it a look.
Ooh, the Molotov is so good. Oh, Bruna. Oh, Savvies. Oh, it's a bloodbath. Maybe they should have just saved, man.
Tamazinia doing the best job to try to make any money on the exiting T's. And, ooh, she left it too late. 7 health. Oh, not fast enough. Couldn't get those legs moving. And that's going to be 4 now, 4-4 Magic here. If they can manage to get into the lead at the half, like take the rest of this and get to 7, I'd be very worried for the Killers. Like, they started this show really strong, but just unfortunately, it feels like, you know, some choices in the mix, in the chaos of everything that 4 Magic have been able to throw at them since they started to get these gun rounds on the board. It's just making them look a little lost.
Oh, 4 Magic certainly aren't lost. They have a direction, they have a heading, and they're not making a single mistake. 4 rounds on the trot. They've severely damaged the Killers' economy, so this round should actually end off in an evened out scoreline. A little bit scary of a prospect here. I don't know. Oh, toesies. We've seen some toesies. Oh my God, Stellax. Oh my heavens. That's okay. The rest of her team is popping off, but so are the USPs. How have they gone and done that? We've got numbers advantage back in favor of 4 Magic, but Hera's pushed into their spawn. Oh no, Lord above. 2 versus 2. Babs and Josie this time. Stellax not involved in this 2vx time. A massive factor here. No kit available. And one more time, folks, say it with me now from your chest. It's a save.
I'd argue it's a very good result, though, considering the weird position that the Killers found themselves in over towards the lobby. Managing to get out of that with an AK and AWP, if they're allowed. Attention drawn away from Hera, but they'll still clear the corner. Orp carried across for Bruna rather. There's a full buy. Okay, we still got it going here for the Killers. And this is where they need to change the narrative of 4Magic making the comeback happen.
And I don't even know if you call it. Don't even know if you call it a comeback at this point, right? Like it was 5 rounds, and then there was 5 rounds on the return. You just return serve. You know, it's a game of tennis. Oh my heavens! I'll be honest. Until I saw the kill feed, I thought that might have been a util kill, but nope. It's just Celax. Celax being an absolute rock star. Brindina to follow up. Brindina, the newest addition to this 4Magic roster, certainly paying off here. Doing her part. What do the Killers do? How do they respond at this point? Looking a little bit lost at the moment. And yes, this is 4Magic's map pick, so perhaps we are expecting them to do well on it, but Killers have looked very confused, very lost in the sauce ever since that kind of round 6 scenario. Bomb hasn't... There we go. Bomb's now being planted. Door open. Oh, that's rough. Oh, Anna has no right to get 2 there. The Killers just watch this round flip through their fingers. Sammy's gets taken out on the Ferrari peak. And 4Magic have taken the lead.
Just hits him with some raw aggression. Love to see that bit of action down in the halls. Those 2 after opening double were just catastrophic. The calamity that didn't get traded. Maybe Bruna just wasn't quite ready. You could see that she sort of half flicked around. Might not have had the gun out when the doors opened. But either way, that's 6. It's more than par on the T side, and they're looking for more. Just thinking about putting that pressure back towards ramp again, and another opening. Celax doing so much work with the AVP on the T side.
It's not often that you get to see the AWP get this much done.
Yeah.
Be this impactful on the T side. And particularly not on Nuke. And she just keeps doing it, man. The hits just keep coming. Go on, make it a 3rd. Ugh, okay, maybe not. Flystyle will finally put her down. Extra from Flystyle would be fantastic, but Brindina is ready and waiting. And a lot of this is 4Magic playing a very patient game. They're not playing that super typical South American style, just kind of rushing and being incredibly fast round after round. There's a lot more patience that we're seeing here. That being said, God, down to the 1 versus 1, but it's Josie to finish it off 7-5 at the half.
That's how we like it. That's how this goes. Come on now, baby, let me ease your soul. That's how we live life. Live it up to the top. 'Cause once we start, you know we're never gonna stop. We own it. We're winning every time. We own it. Pushing every day and night. We own it. We don't do compromise. We touch down every time. We touch down every time. This is our time, hit it up with the rebound. This is our turn to see. Gonna put you back, anybody in the lead. it's that feeling. The demons under your ceiling. And everything hurts and nothing is healing. Yeah, I don't even wanna be awake, cause every second that I live is like a wasting. Can you help me start a replace all the memories that stand in my ways? You know what I really hate the most is that happens to me is like a ghost. It's so far away. I only wanna be okay. Tell me why should I stay away? If only dreaming can erase the pain. Tell me why should I waste another minute staying in this critical phase? I'm just praying for some better days. I'm just praying for some better days. I'm just praying for some better days. Some better days. Some better days. I'm just praying for some better days. It's too
For Magic coming through with some pure domination on the T side to find 7 after a rocky start. But hey, this pistol could make it a faster affair on the first map of the series, or we could see the Killers making a comeback happen. Let's see what we get.
All going to come down to this pistol round, a very important one for the Killers to potentially come out on top of. And already it seems like the game plan has been spotted. Shots not quite connecting, so not as crazy of an affair as what we saw in our previous pistol. But Brindina has slipped down, ready and waiting. Unfortunately, her position is somewhat expected. She's going to get caught out, but they won't be able to stop that bomb from being planted. It's little things that give them a footing into this next half. But with the HE coming through there, shutting that down, a tap on the bomb, they've closed the door. There's no way to fight through this. Trying desperately to keep this going just that little bit longer to buy that time. But the defuse is now coming through, and Tamazina has to desperately try to claw back into it. Will be denied. Ana X and Selax, of course, clutching out that round and bringing for Magic up to 8.
NT. They tried their damnedest, but couldn't quite get it done in the post plant. That was quite hilarious with Anna. She's just looking at everyone trying to drop down the vent and combing and trying to shoot between 4 different targets, not sure who to lock onto. And you just watch 4 just waltz their way through the vent to that B site. But look, they got it done on the retake. Big damage with that HE, blowing up the player on default, and then everything else from the numbers game just ends up working out their way. And with that pistol, putting them onto 8, if they get past the Deagle of Flystyle here, it should be easy pickings, but who knows what we'll get. Flystyle will have the range advantage with the dig over towards outside, but in terms of the amount of bullets in the magazine, that's when you ask the real questions, because Babs is here, and she's, you know, as we mentioned earlier, currently the highest rated player, and for a reason. Those shots.
And there you go. Couple of pot shots connecting, but ultimately it's going to be Babs that gets that opener. The Deagle has been, I want to say recovered? Yeah, it's been recovered. So Hera's going to have that in hand now. Hera, of course, Arcadia player to watch. Maybe she can make some miracles happen with that. I do feel like this has been a tale of underperformance. I mean, it's got to be said, right? Sammy's is just not having a good day at the moment. A team kill to come through there makes things a little bit more spicy, and Bruna will be left all on her own off the back of that, unfortunately. While the majority of 4 Magic are performing quite well and kind of knocking on the door of double digits, Anna excluded, of course, she's sitting at 14 at the moment. On the other side, you've got 3 players who are above double digits. 1 player who's knocking on the door, and Sammy's who's trailing desperately behind. And you have to start to wonder, if she was performing that little bit better, would the scoreline look any different, as now 4 Magics as a team are knocking on the door of a double-digit scoreline?
Yeah. This will be the harder place to do it, though. You know, AK's finally in hand, and on paper should be the stronger bite. Looks like we are going to get the AWP picked up by Selax and 4 tossed across. We'll see where she's going to take this one. She's going to go for something more aggressive, or is she just going to sit away at ramp and play a long-range angle? We got 2 starting towards ramp. through the B shot she goes. So I dare say she'll poke her head up eventually over towards Secret. And Sammy's, who is, as you mentioned, having a rough one, will be able to cross before all this has gone down. So she might end up getting here a bit earlier than they expect. Celax, let's see how she goes. Oh, gifted that. And Sammy's, it doesn't get any better.
This is rough for the Killers, man. I mean, we saw what Celex can do on the T side with the AWP. Now on the CT side, this is going to be a very, very tough nut for the Killers squad to crack. Already at a player disadvantage. Ooh, okay, we evened that out. Flystyle has found Celex, not playing dynamic enough. Staying in a position, overstaying her welcome, so to speak. That's going to give the Killers a way back into this round. Now Ana X taking a little bit more aggression here, walks straight into Flystyle's crosshair. Flystyle with 2 in this round and still surviving is a key proponent here. Now Bruna trying to make some space over towards this A side, gather some information. Hello? Hello? Where were you looking? Where was anyone looking? What?
Oh, that timing of the flick up to heaven was crazy. Just didn't hard clear default and then walked in like the freest kill ever. Oh, Lord. I think it was Josie on the receiving end. That was wild.
And I barely noticed where all the other kills happened because like everyone was making their way over towards A because clearly the comm had been, yeah, guys, A side's clear. Let's go.
Yeah.
And everyone just runs straight through and Bab sprays down. Oh, man. That's rough. No, Babs does it again. Okay, it's an anti-eco and they're shutting down the Tech 9 rush. But still, Babs. This is why she's one of the highest rated players. Little bit of pat statting. Little bit... Pat statting?
Yeah, pat
Stat
statting.
padding.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
It's getting late in the evening.
They go hard. That was the bomb. Why?
Yeah, they were trying to go on a retrieval mission. Bomb went down in the first little foray with the smoke spam and the attempt on the vent drop. But pads will be statted. And we'll see if Tamazinia will be seen here. Going past the short side. Oh, doesn't quite spot those boots peeking. And there is 2. Oh, just up above her, but she looks away at the worst possible moment. Ends up going for the full wrap. And the CT's none the wiser that now it's going to be a push towards the main side. Flicks back. And Josie will not fall. So it is flawless in the end. And for Magic, they are running away with this game, stretching the lead out further.
Finally a timeout, guys. Holy. Feels like it's been a hot minute since we've actually seen something like this happen. I do just want to give everybody an update on our second match, Atrix versus Coralzinho. The Mirage Merchants got absolutely destroyed on Mirage by Atrix. A 13-1 victory. That is insane. However, moving on to the second map of Nuke, they went into the half at 7-5. Okay, it was in Atrix's favor, but still. And that was on Atrix's CT side, I believe. Or I might be totally tripping on that one. No, I think I'm unsure. I'll wait for Newt to give me the
We'll
skinny on that one. Yeah, Newt knows everything. He's the eye in the sky. But 7-5. I wasn't expecting Coralzinho to do that well against Atrix. We'll see how that shapes itself up. Will it be a 2-0 affair, or will they give themselves a little bit of a stay of execution? Here on our matchup, the Killers trying to do just that because it does look like that presidential pardon needs to come in desperately, and it doesn't look like it's going to. Josie with the double. Beautiful control there. Yes, finally we see a trade from Hera. Hera now has garnered a bit of control on the site, but it is just 2 of them left alive. Her teammate is destroyed. And now she has to grandstand. Good for 1, but not much more. For Magic, map point on their map pick.
Getting closer and closer to the goal. And even with that rough start, we were questioning, okay, they've picked into this. What are they going to do? Hopefully they have something sort of in the second half, but they didn't really need much of a second half after getting 7 on the T side. And the Killers, they get close. You can see in moments they're making some right decisions, but then it feels like it's the trade game that's letting them down. Spacing's good, but then positional perfection out of Josie, especially that round, just up on the top of the A-site silos. Not able to be spotted from anyone popping out of hut without looking up instantly. And you have so many positions to clear as soon as you get out of that choke point. And she makes the most of that. There you go. Trade comes through, but she's already done the damage for 2. And from that point, it's just so much harder for Hera to win in that 1v3. Last opportunity here. If they concede one more, 4Magic will be taking it all the way to Ancient, which at least the Killers could find themselves in a more comfortable environment.
I was just looking at the scores for the Atrix Curls in Your Map 1. Sophia went 19-3. What a rock star, man. It's rough out here. All right, potentially the last round of our first map of the evening. Potentially. The Killers have yet to pick. They have not picked up a round in, I want to say, 8 rounds. I could be wrong on that one. Maths is not my strong suit, but it has been a very long time since we've seen them tick up that number. And this is last chance saloon for them. Well, 7 rounds of consecutive last chance saloon if we want to find ourselves in an overtime scenario. Oh, does she check for Babs? Babs is in such a good spot. Babs get the first, can't get the second, does get traded out, but she's spotted out so many, and Selex gets a trade as well. So now the Killers have already been whittled down to only 3 remaining. They've slipped down secrets. They have that control, but they're paranoid. There's only 2 of them. They don't know that the bomb site is completely free real estate. They're hoping that they've drawn a rotation and that maybe they can turn back and hit the A site instead. But 4Magic, very clever, playing around the vent, waiting to see what information is gone. And Selex gets the kill onto Sammy's, which means that, you know what, outside, that's a no-fly zone. So they're just going to hard commit down towards this B site. Door being open. They're continuing to try to clear things out. Again, they don't know. They don't have that information. They have to take all this time. And with that time being taken, it's become abundantly clear to 4Magic that it's not going to be an A hit. It's going to be the move in towards B. Very smart, not planting on that default position. Allows them to get that bomb planted. But can they hold? The flash is good. Tamazenia tries desperately to hold on to the last vestiges of this round. But no, it will be 4Magic winning out on their map pick. 13-5. What a dominant performance.
Yeah, it was 11 rounds strung together to close out map number 1 of the series. 4Magic doing it from the back foot initially, but yeah, big lead, big dominant performance.
Yeah, I'll soak up some rays.
There you go. You absolutely love to hear it. And I'll tell you what else you love to hear. The game's ready to go, Sam. So let's jump into Ancient. Let's jump into the second map and let's set the scene and see who is going to be taking this one, or at least the pistol to set the tone. Anna X going to get dinked straight away. And the A split is on the cards.
They've smoked themselves off in Red Room, but it's a walk-up smoke. It allows them all that space to move unhindered in towards the Red Room. But now as the smoke dissipates, we find ourselves a little bit of space to play with. Anna X has repositioned, waiting for someone to push their way through. Spots out the first, but she's been spotted herself. Time now, a little bit of an issue. Oh, caught with her back turned. And yes, that is the bomb carrier that has been dropped. The trigger discipline on Anna X paying off beautifully. Calls in the cavalry. Reinforcements have arrived. They've taken control of the A site, but without the bomb and without the numbers, everything falls to the wayside, and somehow they're going to have to 2v5 recover this round. I'm perfectly honest with everyone. I don't see it happening. I don't see a bomb recovery. We've got a few players that are devastatingly low, but I think that you kind of reposition yourselves a bit more. Make sure that those low HP players on the front line aren't going to be taking the majority of those bullets. So you can kind of tank a few more shots. And as the time continues to whittle away, I mean, it turns into a little bit of a desperation play. Finally, the last 2 players will be put out of their misery. No bomb plant, and that will be 4Magic's winning their second pistol of the series.
That's reminiscent of one of those rounds we saw earlier on Nuke with 3 of those members so low. This time it was 4, all dinked up, but no finishing blow found by any of the Killers. So that one's going to sting. And unfortunately, yeah, with that C4 left behind in CT spawn and the quick rotation from 4Magic, it was just fully locked in. There was almost no chance at coming back into that one. And no bomb plant means no real reinvestment here. Just that Tech 9 for Bruna to try to get anything going. Of course, just wanting to give themselves some kind of chance to find financial damage. But with no one on the A site, it's a free plant. And that'll allow the third round buy to look a little more healthy if it gets committed on. Yeah, there it is.
Ooh.
Down it goes.
Might be... okay, no, never mind. I was about to say it might be more than a bomb plant, but no. The reinforcements arrive. Good little bit of a pincer set up there. I do like Hera's reposition here. Could make her dangerous. Oh, Sammy's starts firing a little bit too early there. She's going to be swung on. Can't connect the shots. Hera has recovered an MP9. She's still full HP, but now she's been spotted out. Oh, they're all just running her over. The bomb has been defused, and it's a second round for Magic. But as you said, bomb planted 2 rounds in a row means it is a healthy buy-in to this second, or rather third round. Problem being, they've only managed to pick up 2 kills in entirety over the course of the last couple of rounds. And while it's only been 2 rounds, it's not a great start.
Yeah, the finance of the CTs still relatively healthy. Should be able to fashion something into the next. As you can see, they've gone for the M4s instead of just going for that lower buy and a faster approach, with Sammy's managing to find the same amount of kills already that she had essentially there on Nuke. So that's a much better start. And on the entry game, she's feeling confident, looking to inflict pain straight at a donut. A-site under fire as thekillaz going to be trying to dance around in the smoke. But Anorex goes out to help her, and they both end up getting found. So this could be the round to finally break the streak of, what was that, 13 in total that Fort Magic have managed to just put on.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's just been a very dominant affair. But finally, we'll see them kind of stem that tide a little bit here. And Babs, unfortunately, not going to be able to get too much done on the tail end of this round. And thekillaz, I mean, the recipe was not working. Round 1, the split didn't work. Round 2, the rush didn't work. Round 3, well, they had rifles. So that does make somewhat of a difference. Sammy's gets 2 kills before she's finally taken out, and really good to see her kind of coming into her own a little bit here. Again, very early on in the half, but nice to see that she has started to step up a little bit more and is being a slightly stronger proponent here. But can they keep that momentum going? You know, the Full Magic should still be in. Ooh, no, that's surprising. I thought with how clean those last few rounds were, they'd have a little bit more money. They'd be able to keep themselves afloat a little bit longer. But this is an unfortunate buy? Question mark?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It was a awkward position for the money to be in, where you've still got those 2 rifles, I guess, in some of the heavier hitters for the riflers there. And those 5.7s, they can still pack a punch. So it's the mixed bag of candy that I guess you could kind of call it. And we'll see if Anorex with the 5.7 could have had a shot. Actually had about 4 of them, but missed all of them. And thekillaz going to have a crack herself, but falling at a temple increases the inaccuracy, and now it's just save territory.
Yeah, when it goes so awry so quickly, it really doesn't make too much of any sense to really push this. See if we can get some exits. Ooh, unfortunate. Brendina will be an exit. Was just an MP9, but hey, a gun is a gun. Of course, they're not going to risk the M4s, rather keep that into the next round, because again, that economy continues to be a little bit of a problem here. Thekillaz, it took Full Magic 4 rounds on Nuke before they were able to bite one back. And I always talk about how round 5 is a bit of a momentum shifter. But for thekillaz, 2 rounds in, and on their first rifle round, they've very quickly snatched back the control. They've come through this 4th round with all 5 players still alive. They even had some utility remaining in their belt. So the buy into this round isn't going to do really much of anything. After buying, 3 of your players still have over $5,000. So very much sitting in the butter. Full Magic, as predicted. Just the 2 rifles, 1 upgraded pistol. This should be a foregone conclusion.
It should be. There is still a chance that they walk into the rifles, one of which is solo on Babs at B. And it looks like they will be bringing the C4 in this direction. So a chance for Babs to do damage, maybe buy some time or at least hold space for a retake. It's kind of like the 3 options that she has. And if 4Magic think that Donut's clear and walk into, what's that, a stacked plat, a stacked boost over towards A, then they could be in trouble in that regard as well. They hear Babs with that M4 and think maybe it's not the best decision. But the game plan seems to be pressure mid, go for the flank, and with the bomb still at the double doors, it will be the B pincer.
Mid for free and for gratis once again. The smoke down to allow them to cross safely and to slow down the reinforcements. But most of the reinforcements are heading up through mid, it seems. Hera has taken down Babs. That's one of those M4s taken offline. And realistically, there shouldn't be too much more that can be done here. Hera's going to be holding the defensive line. Good for a third before she's finally taken down. But Josie... oh, we didn't get to talk about her too much in the pre-show, but she is also a very important key for this squad. Unfortunately, she's someone that also sometimes struggles from that inconsistency bug. But here, keeping it expensive, trying to whittle away. Unfortunately, it's kind of a too little too late, and they are going to be forced to have to back away and save once more. They've made it a bit closer than the previous round, but it really doesn't matter at this point.
I think it's like a long term it matters, you know, like keeping the AK alive is going to be huge for the next round's firepower. They've saved rifles for what, like 2 rounds, that's 4 in total. So super long term, it can give them another whole gun round at a point. And I think that's what's going to matter. So short term definitely doesn't matter, but moving into the next, let's see if Babs with the AK is going to be allowed to shoot, because last round she wasn't quite switched on to the flank coming through CT. So went down for free and made it look a lot easier than 4Magic may have hoped. 1-1-3 set up here for 4Magic, or for the Killers rather. Bit of pressure towards mid, heavy presence at Banana. Looking to make their way into the B side. If they go fast, it's going to be this 4v2. And that should favor them.
Timing. Really looking to see what Selex can do here with this AWP. Here's that shot. Oh my god. The flash! Oh, it's beautiful. Perfectly executed there. Gets that opening kill onto Sammy's. That's the flank. That's that mid-control proponent taken offline. Ana X heavily under fire, but is able to duck and weave. Shots continue to connect for her. Bruna Killer will bite back, but Babs will put her out of her misery. And after a string of rough rounds, 4Magic showed that they are not out just yet.
Yeah, that's a B-team powerhouse, the Smash Sisters. Babs and Ana X just able to play off one another in cave, at long, just taking contact and, you know, sort of shifting up who takes that focus away. Good reactive utility to slow things down. And just losing that lurker may have forced the Killers to make a bit of a frantic decision. But again, it's also, you know, you got to complement that flash from Josie to make it look so easy for Selax. And again, they're just going to look to keep on pressuring with the flash forward, but it's a pre-fire, and Sammy's just going to knock them both down here at mid.
Mid control is such an important part of this map. And whoever wins mid has so much more of an advantage into the rest of the round here. But it has gone a little bit back and forth. Sammy's surviving by the skin of her teeth, but finally will be put down. Babs, however, is also put to rest. And suddenly, the CT squad have fallen to the wayside with a bomb planted. Only 2 players remaining here. It seems like going for this retake is less than advisable. So we'll do a little bit of gun juggling, keep ourselves an AK into the next, make sure we've still got that AWP. And, well, the Killers very quickly regather their control. And this is what I was saying. The last time they played, it was a 7-5 half. It was desperately close and even ended on a 13-10. So I would not be surprised to see this going the distance.
Terrorists win.
Yeah, rounds just kind of going back and forward again. Ana X, again, able to save that AWP across, as well as the AK for Brandina. So yeah, the detriment to 4Magic at mid, you can see, had a huge flow-on effect for the rest of the round. it wasn't a bad decision that they made. It was just the timing, really, that boiled down to it. And Sammy's doing great work on that double entry. And maybe a misread on the economy, just going for the MAC-10 instead, although leading the charge, look at this, creates a whole bunch of space and gets the info on Josie, who's trying to escape and will fight for her right to survive in Donut.
Ooh, slips straight past all of that utility, but dies for her hubris, for her over-aggression. Josie, that's your teammate friend. Don't shoot her. There you go. All good. Josie does eventually get taken out, but Babs will trade it back. And Flystyle alone, trapped in a corner, in an unfavorable spot. Around and around we go. And this is where the impact on the economy starts to become a problem. When we keep going back and forth, when we keep going blow for blow, neither one of these teams is really given an opportunity to build up a buffer. So the Killers are relying heavily on the buffer that they had already built. And even then, we've got 2 Galils thrown into the mix. For Magic, on the other hand, Josie should be good. She should still be able to come out with a weapon here. So they still have a full buy, but they're on a knife's edge. So for either one of these teams, as we get closer and closer to the half, this could become very messy.
Yeah, we'll see where we end up. But again, there will be one more buy in the back pocket, even after the chaos that didn't end up working in the Killers' favor. I wouldn't be surprised if we end the half 6-6 and keep it real close. But yeah, on paper, it's contrasting as to which player or which teams are better on which sides, right? I think the Killers are slightly better on their T side, according to the last month or so, as well as 4 Magic, similarly better on the CT side. So right now, both on their stronger halves. But that's not really a strong approach to the round. Sammy's unable to find the entries, but Bruna already here at Heaven. Looking to try to bring this one back. HE off the window. Will be sent back to the wall. But with the player down, it's looking a little rough. The B site, though, the setup leaves something to be desired. Good timing on the smoke at ramp.
Josie firing those shots off, giving away a position and not getting a kill means she's forced to have to reposition, because if she gets caught out there, she's in trouble. So their pincer is shut down before it's even had a chance to have any sort of an effect. And because the Killers hadn't actually committed, they now have a free mid to go for this rotation. Now there is presence up towards Red Room. Will Brendina be able to spot anything out? Nope, she's not even going for a peek here. She's listening. She'll be able to hear the stampede making its way on towards the B site. She'll hear when that bomb does go down. She'll be able to call that over. The site has been capitulated completely for free. Now the rotations start to come in. It's still advantage CTs, as they do have the extra numbers here. But with the bomb planted, they have to... we swap roles a little bit. They become the attackers, have to try and find an opening into this. They've got scant utility available for themselves, can't flash through onto the site. And unfortunately, that could leave them in a very rough position. They have to dry swing in. They're keeping it competitive. But how much closer can they keep this affair? Babs lost one alive. She's been a rock star. But can she perform? Will this concert be a sold-out show, or will it be a dud? Hera to get the final shot connecting, and the Killers take the lead once more.
He gets that final say in. And just phasing the smoke, able to equalize the numbers, was huge for Hera. Flystyle as well. Big damage over to Donut. And everyone turning up just when it was necessary, just to edge out into the lead. The Killers now in prime position to cause a bit of an upset. And as you can see as well, for Magic's economy once again in question. They ship out plenty of pocket change to make sure that the AWP's in hand for Celax. But that needs to find a big bit of impact this round, and it's the 5-7 to open things up. Flashed in, Celax sending the pistols and the low by forward, as Babs as well is just going to keep on looking for action. Celax at mid, finds Sabbies. Oh, and this is not going to plan for the Killers.
I love that we can't get a streak going, man. Not since, obviously, we had pistol and then we had a little bit of a streak on the return. And since then, it's just been 1 for 1 for 1 for 1. There are no streaks. There is no trotting. It's just a slow slog closer and closer to halftime. But with the minimal buy that I say minimal, I mean, we still got the AWP in this. We still got an AK. We got 2 MP9s to kind of complement that. Despite the fact that they have that slight disadvantage, they keep this competitive. The Josie spotter must have done. Immediately pulls back. Can calm that over. So now we'll have a little bit more positioning up in towards top mid here. On the other side of Red Room, Brandina waiting to see if anybody pushes into her crosshair. She wants to be in the more up close and personal position. And that smoke gives them the opportunity to move forward a little bit. Here, the HE to clear the smoke. Spots out one in towards mid. That doesn't garner them all the information that they might want. thekillaz ready and waiting. The flash just that little bit too late. And she will capitalize with only 2 players left alive now. They should be able to make their way onto the site. But can they actually get anything done while that's happening? These sightlines are being held down beautifully. Hera takes one with her as she falls to the grave. Tamazinia tries to go for the plant, but is spammed through. And once again, we even things out.
Just when the economy was at breaking point, it gets sent back. Fully returned to sender. And we were talking about the priority on the AWP, which still gets big value. 2 huge picks. Splitting the numbers over towards A main, as well as the denial of aggression towards the middle of the map. With a low buy, it might be a faster approach. Flystyle disrespecting the in-send and sending it straight to B.
Oh, it's messy. Oh, it's so messy. Trying desperately to make something happen in this round. But again, that long-term economy playing havoc with these teams. Somehow, we're fighting this back. Brought it only to a 1-player deficit. We have control of the B site. But Full Magic desperately close here. Tap on the bomb to see if anyone peeks through, an HE to try to spot something out. And that actually gives Hera the opportunity to even out the numbers. Now she'll be allowed to plant. And the 2 of them will have to play off of one another perfectly. Babs and Brandina now know that they're in a very rough position. There is 1 kit available, so they know they've got a little bit of time to go for the reposition. But Hera is waiting for it. She has an inkling, a suspicion that they may opt to move up through the short position. Oh, dear Lord. She misses out on the utility, but she gets swung on drastically. Bruna now left alone in the clutch. Does manage to get that first kill, spamming through the smoke, and it does connect, but somehow... Okay, I thought that was it was a defuse. I can't believe it.
It was just barely.
The ninja defuse in the smoke. I saw the bomb was green, and I was like, wait, surely not. But no, they've done it.
Just that last millisecond micro adjustment gets the kill, but it's just that tiny, tiny bit too late. And all the kills go in favor of the killers. Living up to their name, but it's the round 4-4 Magic. Pulling it out of thin air. Bit of money in the back pocket for both sides, especially with that plant going down. And Sammy's has been great at the mid-entries, but this time, the plant gets sent back. thekillaz, no armor, is going to be forced back, dodging all the shrapnel from the HEs, and there is space on the site for Josie to play around here in the smokes, which makes things incredibly awkward. Another thrown on the middle, and there is just chaos ensuing all across A.
Will it be a 7-5 repeat of the past, or will we get that 6-6? It's so hard to tell, but as the bomb continues to tick down, this time around, there's no kit available, so time is of the essence. Babs and Brandina are going to have to play off of each other perfectly. We've seen them in this position before. We've seen them make absolute magic happen. 1 player spotted out, a second spotted as well. They know where at least 2 of them are, so we'll get 1 of them through, but now Babs is all alone, and she cannot clutch it. 6-6 will be the half.
Press play. You know I feel the same way. Something crawling under the surface. Snap your fingers, we'll go there. We can find your inner furnace. Keep racing to the mantra. Don't stop, get what you're after. No
We couldn't be closer moving into the second half. 6 apiece, and it's anyone's fight, but we're getting straight into the action. No time for pleasantries as it's Whip City on the T side, but Babs is here to try to trade. Lord have mercy, 2v5. We're 3 seconds in.
That wasn't pleasant for anyone except maybe the Killers for the kickoff, but we trade it back a little bit, bring it back to a 2 versus 2 scenario. We continue to fight in mid. They have control of the bomb, so I'm a little bit surprised that they're continuing to fight this. And unfortunately, that's going to be Babs dropping, so Selax has to come up massive. I think we've done some serious damage to those 2vx stats that we were talking about a little bit earlier on in the day, but that will be the Killers winning their second pistol of the series. Both teams 2 for 2.
And if you just joined us, you might have thought it was the start of the game. It did initially look like it was going to be a knife round with all 10 players at mid. That's quite rare. On a pistol, I wouldn't say I've seen it ever. So there's a first time for everything. And here at ESL Impact, we're learning together. Glocks, though, still in the back pocket for Magic. Just one flash to play with. And it might just be this late mid pop.
Nice little early kill there. Gives them a bit of an advantage into this one. That being said, I mean, again, there should be a round that goes pretty handedly in the Killers' favor. They have a massive advantage in weaponry. Ooh, Sammy's only losing one player. Honestly, not the worst scenario by any measure. So they'll finally... That's the first time in, I want to say, 4 to 5 rounds that we've actually had consecutive rounds won. It was so
true.
back and forth. Yeah, so back and forth towards the end of that last half. But of course, that is the nature of pistols, right? You win the first one, chances are you're going to win the second. The question now becomes, can they maintain that control? Because for Magic, without those bomb plants, it's not as robust a buy as they would have liked. It's still good, don't get me wrong. They can still get a whole hell of a lot done with this buy. But will it be enough?
Well, we've had action at mid all half so far, and that's going to happen again, but this time going in favor of For Magic, now finding themselves with a 2-player advantage. Deep smoke at CT. Hopefully denying Hera an opportunity back into the site, but she's going to give it a look. They've got some extra cash in the back pocket and maybe able to slide an angle onto Josie here, but decides to play the long game, backing away. Famis and M4 saved by Hera and Flystyles. Could definitely help out moving into the next. You look at Sammy's, you look at Tamazinia, and with Flystyle nothing in the bank at all. This is going to be their best chance at another in the next. But we won't, Sam, we won't string 3 rounds together. Not yet.
Maybe later.
Terrorists win.
Maybe later. I think the maximum streak on this map has actually been 2. Which is crazy when you think back to Nuke, where we had like a 7-round streak or 8 rounds that got us to the win at the end of it. Absurd. But we did highlight coming into this that this should be a slightly closer, I say slightly, it should be a far closer affair. I think that there's some concerns in the Killers camp, and that's why we're seeing this timeout being taken here. They were at a bit of a deficit in that one, right? It was the full bonus, so they weren't wanting to spend too much into that one. They were just going to kind of ride those weapons through, but they had an obvious disadvantage in firepower. So it was really going to come down to how they executed that CT half, and unfortunately, they did get caught a little unawares. So now into this one, they can rebuy in, but it is going to be a full force, and despite it being a spend of just about every cent they have, it's still not perfect, right? You got a FAMAS and an MP9 thrown into the mix there. It's somewhat reminiscent to the buy that they had in the last round, and they know that losing this round is going to put them in a very tight spot going into the next few rounds. So this has to be perfection, and unfortunately, perfection falls by the wayside. Sammy's will trade one out, but unfortunately, she will also fall. And that will leave things at a 1-1. Oh, the timing on that flash is perfect. Before the HE can get any information, completely blinded out, not able to win, and shut down. Advantage in the hands of 4 Killers. Start making their way in towards this A site now, already having pushed through, but the bomb is up close and personal. Tamazinia is shut down, and Flystyle has to 1v3 for all the marbles. Or I suppose none of the marbles, as the case may be.
Yeah, marbles just spilling out of the bowl there. I thought maybe there was a little shot in the midst of things if Tamazini won that fight with the package deliverer, trying to carry that to the A site, but unfortunately didn't work in her favor. Unfortunately for Magic, they do steady the score. So all tied up again, and this round should be easier. Just a couple of pistols, Sam. What could go wrong?
What could possibly? I mean, they're not Tech 9s. So, you know, it feels like it's less spooky. That being said, there is a deagle in the mix here. We've seen what Bruno Killer is capable with that gun in hand. Unfortunately, today is not going to be the day that we see that one come to fruition. I'm a little surprised to see that they went for the mid push on that one. I was almost kind of expecting an eco stack on one of the sites. Or if you are going to eco push, I would probably push out of a less long range area. Because let's face it, in the long range battle, the pistols generally just lose to rifles. Maybe they weren't expecting the entirety of 4killaz to be in mid, but that round does not go the way that they had wanted. So we go into the next once again with a little bit of a weird buy, but the AWP is in hand. Maybe that's the difference maker.
Looking like a more one-pronged approach from 4Magic. Everyone corroborating over towards A main. Xana X will have that CT smoke lined up at the ready. And the potential for that late mid lurk could also activate. It's just a matter of where Bruno wants to play from.
Brandina playing around these smokes has been so difficult to deal with. Finally, she does get put down. In a smoke, no less. As I say that, color me incorrect. That's going to allow 4Magic the opportunity to find themselves on double digits. It's looking more and more like we may just have that 2-0 victory. That revenge arc coming to fruition. As only 2 players now remain. And it's going to have to be a save. Money is a severe problem for the killers. And realizing that with the 4killaz hitting, 4Magic hitting double digits, they have to save every cent that they possibly can to give them an in into the potentially last few rounds.
Terrorists win.
Round loss bonus fully worked up now. And with the 2 rifles saved, you can toss some across if you don't want to focus on the util. It looks like they're playing a bit of a long game. I saw a scout board up with no armor, MP9 in the mix. Yeah, it's just going to be sort of a mixed bag lifestyle. Dropping something across to someone else and just buying armor and utility. So really leaning into that support role. Hoping that the P250 is going to be enough to hold on to B site, which it certainly will be because as we know, and the killers don't, 4Magic are targeting A once more.
We're trying desperately to get something done with that scout. Unfortunately, nothing really hitting. Brandina, however, is mowing down enemy players through those smokes. Brandina on 13 and 11 now off the back of that. Actually, on that note, 4 players for 4Magic, all sitting on 13 kills apiece, and Bab's the one to be trailing behind with only 10 kills. I mean, this has been such an impressive performance from them. And I'm really, really glad to see that they've stepped up from that open qualifier. You can see that they've put in a lot of time, work, and effort. But things are not over just yet. Of course, this will be another forced save, unfortunately. But moving up now into those double digits, well into those double digits, the killers should certainly be feeling the pressure.
4Magic looking incredibly locked in. And the A site executes just unbearable for everyone on this side of the map. Maybe trying to expose some weaknesses that they've identified. It could just be a matter of also trying to get away from Hera as much as possible. You know, she is sort of carrying them at the moment. 15 and 9, doing a stellar job. But unfortunately, just without her on that side of the map, she's unable to get activated. Let's see if they do the same thing again. Looking like we are going to go into a short pause. Just a tactical, all things considered. And Sam, you got my mind thinking before, by the way. You said, today's not the day. And I used to do this thing back in the online era, the super online era, where I'd check the national day of the day, you know? Just
Oh
like
my goodness,
what the
okay.
national day is. And today's stacked because it's the first of the month, right? So we got
Right.
National Walk to School Day, Pumpkin Seed Day, Coffee with a Cop Day, Fire Pup Day, Pumpkin Spice Day, Green City Day, Black Dog Day, Hair Day,
Alright.
Homemade Cookies Day, and Random Acts of Poetry Day. I don't know how you make that one make sense, but you got any poems for me?
Honestly, not off the top of my head, but I'll give it a think,
Okay,
maybe for
okay.
the next map if we get there. It's looking unlikely given the way things have been going thus far. Full
I'd
Magic
agree.
continuing to just be a bit of a problem. Ooh, maybe they're the black dog, the omen of ill fortune for the Killers, finally going to be handing them their first loss of the season, as they've already struck down two of their opponents. Oh, the flank gets destroyed. Caught trying to pull the weapon out. Tamzinha will be good for one, but yeah, get the hell out of Dodge at that point. 12 rounds now for 4 Magic. Map and series point.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's just,
devastation.
their executes are just so formidable. It feels like the Killers, no matter what they do, and the B-site players as well, just not having a chance on many of the gun rounds. When they're finally given that opportunity, they just quite weren't ready. I think at that point as well, you almost expect them to hit A again because they've been doing it and it's been working. To just really caught in transition and not expecting such an early round pop yet again. But that seems to be 4Magic's strong point, right? Is they just have a target and they hit it. And they've been hitting it every single time here since they got the economy stabilized on the T side.
Do you know what my favorite thing about the Killers is? Their logo is a bottle of tequila.
Is it?
Tequilas? The Killers? Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep. I noticed that a few seasons back, and purely based off of that, they've been one of my favorite teams. Well, perhaps tonight they'll need to crack out the tequila because this doesn't look like it's going to be going their way. It's all going to come down to these openers. Tamzinha already flashed off of her position. Oh my earth, that repeat is disgusting. The raid boss of Ana X has been taken off the board. I say the raid boss. You got 3 players sitting on 14 kills. This really has been a team effort across the board. How do they recover from this? Some good presence towards A. Oh, Bruna. Oh, Bruna. I don't know if I love this. I don't know if this is such a good idea. She's jiggling. She's peeking. She's pushed on through. She's been shut down. Numbers now evened out. Suddenly, 4Magic back in with a massive opportunity. Trades do favor your T's. Tamzinha has spotted out the enemy AWPer. The timing on that just a little bit off, so can't get the shot through the flash. That's going to allow space for 4 Killers to move on in, get that bomb planted. Tons of utility being thrown out to stall out an attempt at a retake, but the loss of their utility now has been chalked away. 1 flash remains for the Killers. It's all that they're going to have to give them an opportunity. Where do they opt to use it? Who do they try to flash out to find some space? Oh my God, I don't even know how she gets seen there. Selex gets caught out. Now Sammy's somehow has to make magic happen as Hera has fallen as well. Oh my God, turns to look at the bomb and gets caught out. Beautiful performance here from 4Magic. They've done it. They've completed the redemption arc. They've come out swinging against a team that kind of stamped on them